All right, thanks for your question, James. It's a pretty hard topic to nail, but I'm going to try my best for you. The best way for me to explain it is to use me as an example, because it just gives you like more of a context to put the whole kind of thing into. I feel like first you need to decide why you're losing weight. You said to me that you're racing in Belgium, you're competing 2 or 3 times a week. Now, probably in Belgium you're not going to be encountering many hilly races, so the reason why you're losing weight is primarily because you want to make yourself more efficient, not because you want to climb, 10, 15, 20-minute climbs faster than everybody else. If that's the case, then efficiency is your main goal. Then I wouldn't worry too much if you are putting on weight before the events. I think regarding efficiency, it's something that you can't really measure. You just have to kind of trust your body to deal with that. The fact that you're fueling it correctly and you're fueling it with the correct nutrition to make yourself more efficient. I think racing 2 or 3 times a week and trying to do lower carb days leading up to it, and then eating carbs before the race, if you're doing that 3 times a week, then you're not really getting the benefit per se from being lower carb than usual. The way I do it is, say if I race on Sunday and I've got another race the Sunday after, I'll race on the Sunday, and then the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be primarily lower carb than any of the other days, aiming for around 100 grams or lower, and that's with training. So I could be training 3 hours, I could be training just a steady ride, or like I say, I could be doing a 3-hour ride that involves quite harder intensities. In terms of answering your question, trying to keep your body weight low even when you're carb loading, my number one tip would be to work in hours instead of days. So what I mean by that is, instead of saying, if you go up to somebody and say, so when do you carb load? And they're like, I carb load like the day before. So if they say I carb load the day before, you should then respond with, well, what's a day before mean? 24 hours is a day, but what you'll find is a lot of people start eating well before 24 hours. So for a start, if you're not avoiding carbohydrate when you're training, there's no reason for you to carbohydrate load. There's no reason at all. So any club cyclist out there who is listening to this, unfortunately, this isn't probably what you want to hear, but you don't deserve to shove a load of pasta into your mouth the night before a sportif or something, because you don't deserve it. Your body already has a shed load of fat and energy and goodness knows what else to store to fuel you for the sportif or whatever the heck you're doing the next day. So you don't need it. But for us, for any kind of performance benefit, if you abstain from eating carbohydrate for the majority of the week, and then you pay attention importantly to the hours before the event, because that's the most important thing. So if, for example, the velothon that was on the weekend, I started my carbohydrate loading 2 p.m. onwards from Saturday afternoon. So the race was Sunday at 2 p.m. So that was a full 24 hours. Now obviously I'm sleeping through that, but because it's at 2 p.m. I can have 2 meals in the morning on the Sunday before it. That's plentiful. But the day before, you have to be wary that you're not overfeeding, and that's where using trackers like MyFitnessPal and things like that really come into their own. So that's my other tip. Use a tracker and kind of be a slave to it, because things like your training and your power, you can kind of get away with doing there's ways around training that you can do the bare minimum and still get away with it. But with nutrition, it's like, if you eat 100% bang on, what your body needs, you will see massive differences. And I think the takeaway is use hours as a gauge rather than days. Plan, that's massive. Use tracking tools like MyFitnessPal, and you know, don't be afraid on the day of the event, you know, 3 hours leading up to it, to eat like a waffle, or to eat like a Battenberg, you know, a piece of Battenberg, or a piece of Serene loaf, or some Millionaire shortcakes. It's like, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever. If you've been good, I say good, that's like talking like a nutrition, like a sort of been Slimming World dietitian there, but if you've been like on target for 6 of those days, you know, you can afford to eat like some good quality sugar in the 24 hours leading up to it. 24 hours, that's the important thing, and that's my advice to you